Yuji was an ordinary office worker, drained by a job that pushed him too hard. He died from sheer exhaustion. But when he woke up, he found himself in a strange new world with magic and monsters. In this world, Yuji was reborn as a tamer, the weakest job class. Most people laughed at tamers, but Yuji wasn't ordinary. He made friends with some super smart slimes who helped him learn all kinds of skills. He even got a second secret class called Sage, which made him powerful, but he kept it hidden. Now Yuji works as an adventurer. One day he accepts a quest to gather herbs, which should have been simple. Suddenly, a ghoul-like monster attacks him. Yuji dodges, then signals his slimes, who shoot a powerful fireball that blows the ghoul to pieces. When he returns to the Adventurer Guild, everyone's shocked by how many herbs he brought back. They'd all underestimated him. Even the guild boss is surprised, calling Yuji a special tamer. Then the deputy bursts in, yelling that smoke signals are coming from the forest. Yuji quickly checks with his slimes, who report back that thousands of monsters are closing in from all sides. The guild boss panics, telling everyone to run, but Yuji steps up, saying he can hold off the monsters. He pulls out a huge dragon bone and says he'll use it to create dragon fire just once, enough to wipe out the monsters. Some people doubt him, but a guy with funky hair known as Pineapple backs him up, saying he saw Yuji's slime breathe fire. Everyone rallies. Yuji takes command, getting his slimes and a proud wolf he summoned to help. He positions himself on high ground to control the battlefield. As the adventurers defend the gates with grenades and weapons, Yuji casts a massive spell, creating a barrier around the town. Then he unleashes a powerful attack called Hellfire of Demise, which obliterates the monsters. But he's not done yet. The first wave of Hellfire drains him, but Yuji casts it again to finish off the remaining monsters. After the battle, Yuji's exhausted. He wakes up a few days later to hear people celebrating. They're calling him a hero. But Yuji has no interest in fame, so he quietly leaves town, leaving behind a slime as a spy to keep an eye on things. Just before leaving, he overhears that the man responsible for the attack was part of a cult called the Blue Moon of Salvation. Yuji knows they're dangerous, and figures this won't be his last encounter with them. In the next town, Yuji is hungry, and buys enough food to feed his group of slimes and summons, making them happy. He heads to the local Adventurer Guild, where tamers usually aren't respected, but they let him join because he has great tracking skills. Soon he meets a team of adventurers who need a tracker. Their leader, Radis, doesn't like tamers, but the girls on his team, Tina and Lisa, force him to let Yuji join. Yuji joins them on a mission to find an earth dragon hiding in the forest. Yuji's slimes help track the dragon, and Radis starts to respect Yuji's skills. As night falls, they set up camp. Yuji reflects on how far he's come, remembering how he first tamed his slime and found a cabin full of magical books. The slimes learned magic just by reading, and all their knowledge transferred to Yuji, making him a powerful sage. Wait a minute. What the hell is this broken shit? In the middle of the night, Yuji's wolf warns him that Radis is sneaking off. The girls follow, revealing they suspected Radis all along. He leads them to a bandit camp, reporting to his boss that he plans to betray them. Yuji listens, realizing the rumors were true. Radis was working with a notorious bandit who trades in slaves. Oh, fucker. Yuji and his team defeated the Earth Dragon, but Tina couldn't believe it. She joked that maybe Yuji hid some flammable ore under the ground to cause the explosion. Back at the guild, when they reported their victory, the receptionist doubted them, until one of Yuji's slimes spilled out the dragon's skull. She asked what happened to Radis, a bandit leader, and Yuji's slime proudly revealed Radis and his gang were captured too. The reward was huge, making Yuji and his team instant millionaires. But with this fame, the guild's one-eyed boss, Captain Eyepatch, summoned Yuji for a meeting. Eyepatch appeared. Is One Piece going to end now? At this meeting, a gathering of powerful warriors discussed the city's biggest threat, the Blue Dragon. Eyepatch asked Yuji to describe it, and Yuji used his skill to draw the creature with impressive detail. Everyone was shocked, especially a priest who recognized the dragon from an ancient holy book. The book's legend said the dragon had once wiped out an entire continent, only to be defeated by a divine warrior. Eyepatch noted that 30 years ago, the capital priests performed a ceremony to summon a future hero to fight such a disaster, scheduled to arrive just a week ago. Yuji, having arrived recently, kept quiet about his origin. Just then, the sky darkened again, and Yuji's slimes reported that the blue dragon was growing stronger. Eyepatch urged everyone to prepare for a dawn battle. Later, over dinner, Yuji's teammates Tina and Lisa decided to join the fight, trusting in Yuji's strength. That evening, a priest from the meeting, named Style, approached Yuji, gifting him an ancient dagger. It was unbreakable and could channel powerful magic, a gift from the gods. The night before the battle, Yuji noticed the dragon absorbing magic from the surroundings, growing even bigger. Recalling his immense magic strength, he felt he could face the beast. He rode out with his slimes and wolf to confront the blue dragon. Yuji tried attacking with a powerful fire spell through his slime, but it only enraged the dragon. As the creature attacked, Yuji barely managed to defend himself with barrier spells, but the dragon kept growing by draining the magic from the forest. In a final effort, Yuji wielded the divine dagger, getting close to stab the dragon with concentrated hellfire. He injured the dragon, but it fought back fiercely, knocking him into the cliffs. Exhausted and low on magic power, Yuji used a massive divine strike, stunning the dragon with a lightning bolt. Then, he leaped forward and landed a final fiery strike to its neck. The dragon burst into dazzling fireworks, and the sky returned to calm. Wow, what the fuck? The next morning, Eyepatch congratulated Yuji, but chided him for not calling for backup. At lunch, Tina and Lisa were a bit disappointed they'd missed the chance to fight alongside him. As Yuji prepared to leave town, he ran into the forest spirit Dryad, who showed him strange mushrooms growing where he'd fought the dragon. Dryad explained these could be used to make potions that revealed the truth of the world. Yuji collected the mushrooms, and Dryad crafted powerful potions for him. Continuing his journey, Yuji stumbled upon a strange village covered in fog, where the people seemed off. The village chief insisted he stay for dinner, but Yuji declined. He felt something strange about the place, called Messias, and moved on. When he reached the next town, he found it oddly covered in snow, despite it being summer. The cold was intense, and many residents had even died from the sudden weather change. Hearing about the town's struggle for firewood, Yuji helped by gathering and drying logs, impressing the locals with his strength and resourcefulness. Bro is useful, unlike you. Later, he discovered that monsters were damaging the town's herb supply. Yuji sent his slimes to handle the problem, roasting a massive boar that was terrorizing the fields. They also found a strange crystal absorbing magic from the area. Dryad confirmed it was likely Dragon's Grace, a powerful but dangerous remnant of dragon magic. Yuji's slimes located a circle of similar crystals in the forest, and at its center, Yuji sensed something hidden. He blasted the area with hellfire, revealing an entrance to a hidden underground facility. Inside, Yuji found a lab producing red magic stones that drained power from the environment. The workers, shocked by Yuji's intrusion, ran to inform their leader, Javier, a cultist using the abandoned village of Messias as his base. After gathering more information, Yuji learned Javier was part of the cult, the Blue Moon of Salvation, which was creating cursed stones to damage the ecosystem. Before the cultists could react, Yuji's slimes surrounded the village, trapping them. Searching the cult's library, the slimes found documents about the cult's plans. When Yuji learned the cult intended to destroy anyone who'd seen the stones, he had his slimes lay a trap for the cultists. Upon opening a hidden door, Yuji found a treasure trove and ancient research indicating the cult's goal of harnessing Dragon's Grace for destructive magic. Determined to protect their secret, Javier orders all cult members to take their own lives, triggering the cleansing flame. Suddenly, the area shakes, and Yuji quickly tells his slimes to gather together, placing them in a protective barrier ball and launching them to safety. Then, he throws up 3 barriers around the village. But as soon as the slimes land safely, the cleansing flame erupts, a dark green fire that's too strong for the barriers to contain. Yuji realizes he needs a new tactic fast. Since his usual spells aren't enough to stop this flame, Yuji combines curse dispelling and ice magic to create a new spell called Total Isolation Array. He traps the cleansing flame in a cube to contain it, but this uses a massive amount of his energy. As the flame pushes against the cube, his magic power drains, and he's barely holding on. Just when it seems like he might lose, the flame finally burns out. Relieved but exhausted, Yuji notices his HP is low but still intact. After this, his pet wolf, who hid during the fight, finally comes out, and Yuji jokingly says there's no dinner for slackers. When they return to the village, people worry about him, saying he missed 2 explosions that look like meteors. But thanks to it, the snow has started to melt, and spring seems near. The townspeople even throw a party to celebrate, with Yuji as the guest of honor for defeating the boar monster and bringing warmth back to the town. The chef serves a stew, and with just 1 bite, Yuji feels pure bliss, passing out with a smile on his face. Later, he wakes up in his room and remembers the documents he'd taken from Messias, a cult leader. As he tries to read them, they disappear one by one, protected by anti-piracy magic. The last document, however, has names of people targeted by the Blue Moon cult. Yuji is shocked to find his own name on it. He realizes a group of assassins, including a woman in revealing armor and a masked man, are after him. They're watching him from afar, debating if he's truly a threat. Deciding to avoid a direct confrontation, Yuji leaves the village and heads to a town famous for monster armor, as suggested by a guild receptionist. As he shops around, the assassins keep a close watch, convinced he's just an average tamer, if not worse. Yuji acts clueless, and even takes up a task to hunt low-level monsters. Yuji purposely acts clumsy, using his wolf to fight instead, though the wolf hesitates at first. Eventually, with some encouragement, the wolf remembers his own strength and easily defeats the monsters. Yuji plays along, healing the monsters to make them fight again until the assassins get bored and decide he's harmless. At one point, the assassins let their guard down, so Yuji takes the opportunity to trap them using ice magic, freezing them in place. He considers leaving them but decides they're too dangerous to let go. Afterwards, he heads to the armor shop where he meets the master blacksmith, Geigel, who is impressed by the strength of Yuji's slimes and wolf. Geigel says he doesn't have materials strong enough for them, but mentions that the jewel of a rare blue lesser fire dragon might work. Yuji sets out to find the dragon in a nearby volcano, gathering fire slimes along the way. When they reach the top, the slimes panic, but with Yuji's encouragement they face the lesser dragons. He uses water magic to easily defeat the first dragon, its jewel falling out as a reward. After a long battle, he finds the rare blue dragon and takes it down with a powerful ice spell. Returning to the blacksmith with his spoils, Yuji hands over 2 blue jewels and 200 lesser jewels, shocking Geigel with the quality. A few days later, Geigel finishes a collar for the wolf and a helmet for the slimes. He insists Yuji test it out. Eager to try, Yuji sends his wolf bounding forward. The wolf feels light as air and is faster than ever. Yuji then casts mobility, stamina, and defense boosts on his wolf and slime, making them 10 times faster. Geigel is thrilled but urges Yuji to test the gear with magic too. Yuji fires a frost spell through his slime, which lands with a massive impact, stunning the onlookers. But the blast puts strain on the gear, and Geigel warns that stronger spells could break it. That night, as Yuji ponders Geigel's words, his slimes alert him. Nearby, lesser dragons are in an uproar. Something's wrong. Yuji sends his wolf and slimes to investigate and discovers 2 strangers scaling the volcano. Suddenly, the ground shakes, and Yuji realizes the volcano is erupting. Out of the smoke and fire emerges a giant roaring fire dragon. Yuji asks his pets if they're okay. They are, but terrified. He notices the 2 men with barrels moving toward the dragon. Listening in, Yuji learns they plan to use special water from barrels to subdue the dragon, misled into thinking this tactic will work. Yuji tries to stop them, but they dodge his spells. Realizing they're pros, Yuji traps them using a second slime with a magic net. The men bite poison vials to avoid capture, and Yuji finds cursed stones in their barrels. He summons the Dryad, who confirms the barrels contain cursed water meant to enrage, not kill, the dragon. Yuji purifies it, removing one danger. Yuji watches as the fire dragon crosses the first river, evaporating it instantly. As it approaches the second river, Yuji readies for a showdown. He orders his wolf to sprint across the river, positioning his slimes to launch frost spells. The dragon steps into the water, shrieking as it feels the sting of the cold, but it presses on. Finally, Yuji releases a barrier he'd set up as a dam, causing a massive wave to crash into the dragon. It stumbles but rises again, angrier than ever. Realizing they need a stronger plan, Yuji unleashes his most powerful ice spell, Permafrost Curse, freezing the dragon and its surroundings. When the ice cracks, the dragon collapses, leaving only its jewel behind. Yuji, exhausted, returns to town with the jewel and asks Geigel to create something extraordinary with it. Afterward, Yuji learns about Ordaria, a town shrouded in secrecy and suspicion. He heads there, where his slimes uncover a plot involving the Blue Moon Cult, a mysterious organization with sinister plans. Yuji meets a priest named Steele, who warns him about Walter, the cult's leader. Steele was once part of the Blue Moon Church, but Walter twisted it into a cult, spreading chaos. He believes Yuji, as a divine warrior, is destined to stop Walter. Following Steele, Yuji enters a cave where Walter awaits, wielding forbidden magic. Walter transforms into a monstrous ghoul dragon, powered by dragon energy and dark magic. Despite Yuji's efforts, Walter regenerates after every attack, absorbing energy from fallen cult members. Yuji then hatches a plan. He lures Walter into using up his energy, weakening him. As Walter goes in for a final strike, Yuji casts a spell that turns Walter's legs to stone, immobilizing him. Yuji's slimes trap Walter in a powerful magic net, giving Yuji the opening he needs. With a combined blast, Yuji and his allies finally destroy the ghoul dragon, saving the town from certain destruction. Suddenly, machines throughout the castle activate, pulling energy from Walter and his henchmen, which forms a glowing light that falls from above, transforming into a human dragon mix who calls himself the Sage. Yuji is confused, asking Style if this is part of the revelation. Style admits there's more to the prophecy he didn't mention. The death of a guide would bring forth a sage. They both thought Yuji would become the sage to save the world, but it seems Walter's death has brought forth a corrupted version instead. The corrupt sage uses Yuji's Hellfire spell, wiping out the entire forest above the castle. Yuji dodges, then boosts his slimes and wolf to take on the sage. A fierce battle begins. Yuji's slimes jump and attack, but the corrupt sage blocks every move, countering with Hellfire attacks. Yuji realizes he's burning through his own magic power quickly, while the sage seems to have endless energy. Yuji orders his slimes to unite and use a frost spell, but the sage blocks it and shatters the ice. Yuji tries one more powerful attack, but it barely slows the sage down. Out of options, Yuji uses his own Hellfire, colliding with the sage's attack. Yuji wins the clash, but is low on magic. The corrupt sage taunts Yuji, claiming his power will save the world by destroying it. He activates the remaining dragon energy, creating dark purple clouds that release rain, turning monsters across the continent aggressive. In every town Yuji's visited, monsters start attacking. Yuji helps from afar with slimes he left behind, but he knows he can't protect everyone alone. Fortunately, his past heroic acts have inspired the townsfolk to defend their homes with newfound courage. Yuji realizes he doesn't have to do everything by himself. He can rely on others too. He strengthens the townspeople with magical boosts, helping them fight back. Now Yuji refocuses on the corrupt sage. The sage mocks Yuji, asking why he bothers saving the world. Yuji thinks about his friends and replies that the world doesn't need to be destroyed to be saved. The sage challenges him to a final duel. Both use Hellfire again, but the sage claims his body can handle more magic. Yuji is almost out of options when he receives a message. He can use the Divine Strike spell. He casts it, hitting the sage with lightning, and the sage is briefly stunned. For his next move, Yuji throws his magical dagger into the sky, charges it with Divine Strike and attacks. The corrupt sage is enclosed in barriers, but he breaks them easily. With one last burst of strength, Yuji stabs the sage, releasing the divine strike's energy inside him. The corrupt sage can't handle it and explodes, clearing the dark clouds above. Yuji, unharmed and glowing with golden light, descends to the ground, exhausted but conscious. He confirms with his slimes that the towns are safe and everyone is celebrating their victory. Yuji feels relieved and grateful, watching his slimes dance in joy. A few days later, Yuji learns that while they defeated the corrupt sage, the Blue Moon cult remains a threat. In a hidden base, cult leaders discuss their final weapon, the Purifier. If activated, it would destroy the continent. Yuji overhears this through his slimes and feels the weight of another battle ahead. The next day, Yuji is asked to take on a tiger hunting quest. Since he already defeated a group of tigers, he accepts the mission easily. When he reports back, people at the guild realize who he is, the legendary hero who's fought countless monsters and even defeated dragons. With his cover blown, Yuji wonders what his next move will be. If you enjoyed this recap, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Have a great day.